Fun Dip is a beloved candy that's been around for more than 70 years. It's a multi-flavored confection that draws the attention of all candy lovers. Children of all ages flock to its colorful, eye-catching packaging, as well as the unique combination of sugar powder and candy sticks that color your taste buds. It's a completely contained snack, with the stick inside of the small packet, which is also edible and can be sweet, sour, or a combination of both. But have you ever wondered how someone even came up with this lick-and-stick candy? A completely unconventional concept of dipping a stick made of sugar into sweetened flavored powder sugar. The story begins with Melno Smith, an avid soda and candy enjoyer who, in the 1940s, moved to St. Louis, Missouri, where he began experimenting with his own sugary confections. There, he joined his father's company, Fruzola, and together they came up with a powdered drink packet called Fruzola Jr. It was a product meant to be mixed with water to create a soda with a sweet and sour punch, similar to Kool-Aid, which was growing in popularity at the time. But Smith found that children would often ignore the instructions and just pour the powder directly into their mouths. This resulted in a stronger kick and much more intense flavor, and hence Smith capitalized on this unpredicted shift in product use by creating Lik-M-Aid, a similar sugar powder in small packets. In 1952, Lik-M-Aid was designed to be a cheap penny candy sold in local candy stores, and the name actually came from the act of licking the packet clean to taste every last bit of sugar. From there, single-flavored packets of Lik-M-Aid were sold individually and were a huge success. It and Fruzola were some of the only penny candies kids could buy during the 1940s and 50s, since in the 40s in particular, most manufacturing, including candy manufacturing, dedicated their efforts to supporting World War II. Anyhow, by the early 1960s, the Fruzola Candy Company had been renamed Sunline Incorporated and produced many famous candies such as Pixy sticks, which was actually another product of Smith's experimentation, not to mention the acclaimed Sweet Tarts. They continued to produce Lik-M-Aid in flavors such as cherry, grape, and strawberry. For a time, there was also orange, and sold candy through its Sunmark Brands division. In 1963, Sunline began using full-colored packaging to advertise to customers, featuring an elf mascot that was carried over from the earlier black and white packaging. Then, the company also began to incorporate images of children in costumes of various professions, such as astronauts, secretaries, and performers. They also used packaging to recommend what to put Lik-M-Aid on, so that if you didn't want to just eat the sugar directly, you could use it as a type of topping. And so it was. Kids began putting Fun Dip on products like cornflakes, gum, crackers, and ice cream. By the late 60s, the colorful child-focused packaging was replaced with a more graphic-based approach to target older customers. And for some added entertainment, this new packaging also had a fun mail-away offer on the back. And it's here we need to face the elephant in the room. You see, Fun Dip didn't really become Fun Dip until the dipping stick was added. In fact, the very first mention that we could find using the name Fun Dip came from trade clippings in April of 1973. Around the same time, its white chalk-like candy sticks were introduced. Lick-a-Stix, named for its intended use, allowed customers to lick the candy stick and dip it into the package to collect yet another layer of delicious sugar. One stick came in a package with two flavors, with the word Lick-a-Stix molded into them. This delicious change came with a rebrand, turning the Lik-M-Aid, Lick-M-Stick combo into Fun Dip, the Fun Dip that we know today. Eventually, Sunline Incorporated would become Sunmark Corporation and acquire Baker Confections, which you might know as the Willy Wonka Candy Factory, in 1975. They renamed the company to Willy Wonka Brands in 1980, before they in turn were acquired by the UK-based Rowntree Mackintosh Confectionery in 1983. This company was finally bought by Nestle 5 years later, which it stayed with for several decades. Upon gaining Rowntree Mackintosh and all its subsidiaries, the majority shareholder decided to fold them all into one company under the Willy Wonka Candy Company name and rebrand its products in 1993. During this time, Fun Dip went through a few changes. Originally, it was launched with only a few flavors: cherry, and grape. Furthermore, consumers were limited to just one candy stick. However, Fun Dip was expanded to 3 flavors with the introduction of lime in the 1970s, and then ultimately a second candy stick was introduced in 1989. However, it was the late 80s that the Fun Dip packaging was redesigned and the lime flavor was discontinued to be replaced by blue raspberry. Fun Dip would receive its first holiday-themed edition in the mid-1990s with Ghoulish Fun Dip and another major package update starting on January the 1st, 1996. Fun Dip received another major redesign in the year of 2000 and for the first time ever was packaged with Willy Wonka branding, which they were lacking up until this point. That year also saw the introduction of sour apple as one of the 3 flavors. However, this new design and its heavy Oompa Loompa focus was retired after just 3 years and replaced by yet another new design that lasted for several more, only to be replaced yet again by another new design that lasted for several more. Upon its introduction, Fun Dip was embraced by all lovers of candy, especially children who love its colorful packaging and unique combination of candy sticks and powder. But did you know that there are some people who love the Lick-a-Stick more than the powder itself? In fact, there was a petition to sell Lick-a-Stick without Fun Dip powder on change.org, though it didn't gain much traction. The small subset of Lick-a-Stick lovers still holds strong to this day, and I have to admit, I'm kind of one of them. Anyhow, they even search for recipes to make their own Lick-a-Stick from scratch, which shouldn't be too difficult since they're mostly made of compressed sugar. And I should probably mention that their prayers were partially answered in the early 90s when the Wonka company released a product entirely based around the Lick-a-Stick. They were called Yummy Mummies, with the sticks coming in different colors and flavors. These included banana, cherry, green apple, orange, and tropical punch. Unfortunately, the product was not successful enough to stick around, leaving us where we are today with only the tamer white candy sticks. These are sometimes referred to as marshmallow flavored, but other packages have come with Lick-a-Stick flavors such as lime or tamarind. The Fun Dip itself is made of a bunch of ingredients that I can't pronounce, but I'll show you here on screen, and contain the same basic ingredients as Pixy sticks or sweet tarts. The only difference being that sweet tarts has an additional ingredient that turns the powder into a solid. It also has combinations of natural flavors and food coloring like red 40, blue 1, and yellow 5 for its different flavors. In the US, these have traditionally been cherry, grape, and raz apple, but in Canada, they swapped raz apple for tangerine flavor, which is a bit of a loss for Canada since raz apple has that unique trait of starting out as blue when dry and then turning into green when you lick it. A single Fun Dip package contains 50 calories and 13 grams of sugar and is free of most food allergies like dairy, egg, fish, shellfish, nuts, and gluten. Finally, in the 2000s, Fun Dip expanded these flavors with a new Fun Dip Sour Edition, plus a tropical Fun Dip with a special lime-flavored Lick-a-Stick. In more modern times, Fun Dip has made other sour and tropical flavors such as sour apple, lemonade, mango, and a special mystery flavor. Fun Dip also releases a springtime pack of flavors during Easter containing a mix of watermelon and strawberry. The dip and lick snack is very popular on other holidays too, like Halloween, Valentine's Day, and they come with specially themed packaging around those times. But if we head back to 2010 for a moment, Wonka saw a major redesign to all of its packaging on the Wonka line, including Fun Dip. And these new designs were bold and fun, drawing inspiration from Tim Burton's Charlie and the Chocolate Factory remake. This was the most dramatic redesign for Wonka since the company was launched in the 1970s, and unlike many other candy companies we've covered here that were once popular and faded away, Fun Dip and Wonka remains a powerful force. And I really appreciate how they keep to tradition. For example, what has also remained on the Fun Dip packaging are the words Lik-M-Aid, which may feel antiquated, but they're historic and continue to pay homage to the brand's roots. In 2018, Nestle sold the branding and production rights of the Willy Wonka candy company to the Ferrero Group, maker of Nutella and that famous chocolate. The price tag? $2.8 billion. As a result, the Nestle Wonka brand was discontinued and all candies and factories were transformed to Ferrero. The acquired brands were then folded into the operations of the Ferrero Candy Company, a subsidiary of the Ferrero Group. Unfortunately, this group has further plans to invest. Whoever owns Fun Dip, one thing is certain, it will always remain a fun and unique snack that everyone can enjoy. Full disclosure, I practically lived off of this stuff as a kid, and I had no idea that its history went back so far, which is why I am so happy to have the excuse to eat it once again as an adult. And it totally delivers. Yeah, it's every bit as good. If it wouldn't be so, horrifically unhealthy, I would still live off of this. It's delicious. Not to mention, turns your tongue green. So how could I even put that into words? It's so sour. It's so almost ludicrous. You're just eating sugar straight. In a weird way, I almost can't think of anything else as uniquely American as this candy. We want sugar, we get sugar. And if memory serves me well, once you lick this Lik-M-Aid stick for however long it takes you to eat the candy, it ends up becoming soft and even more delicious than the flavored sugar. So yeah, guys, that's Fun Dip. And it's delicious. And if you enjoyed this episode, please consider subscribing, watch our playlist about the history of food, and let us know what video you'd like to see next in the comments section. And with that said, until next time, I'm Ryan Socash, signing off.